round one is done. Every team is played, and honestly, it told us more in 4 days than some entire tournaments tell us in a month. A 38-year-old tied a 16-year-old World Cup goal record. A teenager outplayed Brazil. The most decorated player of his generation looked completely lost. And somewhere in Kansas City, a referee made a decision that's still being argued about right now. So let's actually talk about what round one told us, not the headlines, the real story. Let's start with the biggest story of round one. Messi scored a hat trick against Algeria. 3 goals, tying him with Miroslav Klose for the most World Cup goals ever scored by a single player, 16 each, at 38 years old in a 3-0 win. By any measure, one of the great individual World Cup performances of the last decade. But here's what's actually being debated. Not whether he's brilliant, everyone agrees on that. It's a challenge in the 31st minute. Messi went into a tackle on Algerian defender Aissa Mandi and caught him on the back of the calf. Mandi went down immediately. No card, no VAR review. And depending on who you ask, that's either a clear red card that was missed or a contact sport moment that's being overanalyzed because it's Messi. Thierry Henry came out and defended him, said intent matters, and Messi was clearly going for the ball. Former referees disagreed. One said by the letter of the law, it's a straight red, no debate. So here's the actual question. If a different player had made that exact challenge, are we having this conversation at all? Or does the size of the name change the size of the outrage? While the Messi conversation dominated the headlines, Kylian Mbappe quietly did something arguably just as historic. 2 goals against Senegal, a brace that made him France's all-time top goal scorer, overtaking Olivier Giroud. That's 58 goals for his country. He also became the outright leading World Cup scorer in French history, passing the legendary Just Fontaine. He's now 3rd all-time in World Cup goals, level with Gerd Müller, only 2 behind Messi and Klose. He's 27 years old. He could realistically break the all-time World Cup scoring record at this exact tournament. But here's the part that got buried. Mbappe didn't do this alone. France's actual man of the match wasn't Mbappe. It was Michael Olise. The Bayern Munich winger set up Mbappe's opener with a pass that split Senegal's defense in half, then created 4 chances in total, including 2 big chances, and covered more ground than anyone else on the pitch. Thierry Henry has already called him the tactical glue holding this French team together. So while everyone was talking about Mbappe's record, the man actually orchestrating it walked away with the official award and barely got a mention, which raises a real question for round one. Are we so locked into the Messi-Ronaldo era and the big goal scorers that we're missing the players actually building the moments? Now here's the contrast that makes round one so fascinating. Cristiano Ronaldo, playing in his 6th World Cup, trying to become the first man ever to score in 6 different tournaments, had, by his own brutal standards, one of the worst games of his international career. Portugal drew 1-1 with DR Congo, a team playing their first ever World Cup match. Ronaldo missed 2 genuinely clear chances. He finished the match with fewer touches than almost every other player on the pitch. His goalless run in major tournaments now stretches to 10 straight games, while Messi was tying a 16-goal record and Mbappe was breaking a 58-goal national record. Ronaldo went the entire match without a single shot on target. The debate here isn't whether he's declined. That conversation's been happening for years. It's this: should Roberto Martinez have taken him off? His manager said there was, in his words, no sense doing that. Was that loyalty or stubbornness? Now let's talk about the round one stories that didn't involve Messi, Mbappe, or Ronaldo, because 3 of the loudest statements of the entire round came from teams nobody was talking about as favorites. Start with Germany, 4-time champions, playing World Cup debutantes Curaçao, a nation with the population of a small town. Germany won 7-1. 7. That's their biggest World Cup scoreline since they put 7 past Brazil in that infamous 2014 semifinal. Felix and Mecha opened the scoring within minutes, and by the time Kai Havertz wrapped things up, it was a statement, not a football match. Then Sweden walked out against Tunisia, a team that hadn't conceded a single goal in qualifying, built entirely on defensive solidity, and put 5 past them. 5-1. Alexander Isak, Victor Gyökeres, Yassine Ayari with a brace. Tunisia Asia's defensive identity was dismantled in 90 minutes. Then there's Norway. 28 years since their last World Cup appearance. Erling Haaland, the most lethal striker on the planet by reputation alone, finally got his World Cup debut against Iraq. He scored twice in the first half. Norway won 4-1. Haaland is now the first player in Norwegian history to score multiple goals on a World Cup debut. And then there's England. Thomas Tuchel walked into this tournament under real pressure. His side had actually lost to Senegal in a pre-tournament friendly, and patience with him was thin. Round 1 was the response. England beat Croatia, ranked 11th in the world, the same team that knocked them out in 2018, 4-2. Harry Kane scored twice. England landed more shots on target in the second half than any other team has managed in this entire tournament so far. So here's the actual debate hiding inside all of this. Were these genuinely dominant performances that tell us these four teams are serious contenders? Or did they just get favorable matchups in round 1 and we're about to overreact to a single scoreline the same way we always do? But if you zoom out from all the big names entirely, the actual story of round 1 might be happening somewhere else. DR Congo, playing in their first ever World Cup match, held mighty Portugal to a draw and scored their first World Cup goal in the process. Morocco's 18-year-old Ayoub Bouadi spent 90 minutes against Brazil, making one of the best defensive midfielders in the world look ordinary. Cape Verde's 40-year-old goalkeeper Vozinha made 7 saves to hold Spain. None of these teams were supposed to be competitive. All of them were. So here's the actual debate worth having. Is round 1 telling us the gap between the traditional giants and everyone else is closing? Or did the giants just have one bad day each and normal service resumes from here? So here's where round 1 leaves us. A legend tying records and dodging controversy. A new king quietly building his case for the throne. The greatest goal scorer of his generation looking human for the first time in years. 4 teams making statements nobody saw coming, and a handful of underdogs refusing to play their assigned role. Here's what I want to know. Argue with me in the comments. Was Messi's foul a red card or not? Is Ronaldo declining or just having a bad week? Were Germany, Sweden, Norway, and England's wins real or just good matchups? Drop your take below. I'll be back after round 2 with the next chapter.